So my veil like really got pulled off of what is the truth with my situation and like my growing up and everything. And my soul told me, you're kind of done with being a personal trainer. Like you really are supposed to help kids. You're supposed to help kids with self-love. You're supposed to travel around the world. What? Like I was terrified to leave my mom's side.
Welcome back to Enthusiastically Spiritual. I'm your host, Teresa. My guest today is here to help you nurture your inner child, clear blocks, step into your power, and fall more in love with the real you. Her name is Cara Faith. Cara is a highly sensitive, heart-centered, trustworthy, and intuitive healer who uses her finely tuned psychic and mediumistic abilities to guide you on a healing journey as you use your heart as a compass to restore clarity. Cara believes that embracing life's synchronicities is essential to living life with joy. Through a series of inward journeys, including reconnecting energetically with her unborn twin brother, Cara learned to listen to her heart and follow its guidance. She overcame her lifelong fear of feeling lost, tapped into her soul's wisdom, and awakened to a new reality of feeling found. She has studied with world-renowned psychic mediums such as Lisa Williams and exceptional psychic healers from Psychic Horizon School, where she became an ordained minister. Welcome, Cara.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I am genuinely excited to be here with you. You're so awesome.
Oh, well, hey, we're mirroring each other, Cara. So let's go there, right? Let's go there with the loving ourselves. Hello.
Yes.
Well, I'd love for you to share a bit about the path that you've been on and your unfoldment and where you're at now with everything.
Yeah. So as a kid, I just knew that I loved to dance. So I loved movement. I loved expressing myself. I loved the stage. I was actually kind of more of a shy person out in a group. But then when I went to the stage, I was like, I can feel my feelings here. Like I can express myself. And I was obsessed with journaling. Like second grade to seventh grade, I was obsessed with journaling my emotions. And I actually had pens of different colors that represented different emotions.
Cool.
So I was just totally in tune with the power of understanding emotions in a sense, and just how important it was to like let them flow through my energy channels of my arms, and how important it was to dance and move and express myself. And I knew I was a sensitive kid, but I didn't know at all that I was psychic and intuitive. And so then it became really true for me when I was like 19 that I knew I was supposed to be a personal trainer.
Mhm.
I left sports because I didn't like competition and I just wanted to play and focus on pizza comes afterwards. So I then just really became focused on fitness and moving my body and feeling my body and caring for myself. And I used to not like to read. I couldn't retain any information until I found my passion of health and wellness. And I found the book, Fitness is My Religion by Madonna's trainer. I don't remember his name.
Mhm.
And it had like yoga and Pilates in it and healthy foods. And my body just told me, this is what you're meant to do. This is what you're meant to do for people and really help them care for themselves and focus on their breath and be slow and focus on the power of their mind. And even as a kid, my friends would be like, you should be a counselor or something. Like you just listen and you just tell great advice. So then when the personal training came to me, I was like, this is great. This is how I can be a counselor. Just listen to people. It was mainly women. So just listen to my female clients and really care for them. So again, I didn't know I was that intuitive. I didn't really know I was that sensitive to energy, but a magical book found its place in my mailbox. I have no idea how. And it's Brandon Bay's The Journey. Have you heard of that book?
No, I haven't.
Phenomenal. And it's about this holistic woman that had a tumor the size of a basketball in her stomach. And she's like, why me? Like, I'm so healthy and I'm so conscious. What's going on? So then her massage therapist was like, have you gone into the tumor and asked why it's there? And there was a memory stored in there from her childhood about unforgiveness when she felt abandoned. I mean, it was as small but massive as her friend picked her sister instead of her.
Mm.
So all this abandonment got stored inside, and then that pattern kept repeating in her life of I'm afraid my husband's going to leave and all this stuff. So long story short, she heals herself when they gave her like a few weeks to live by going into this tumor and doing this whole beautiful inward ritual of letting her inner child speak. And literally, like it coming through, not just, I'm going to listen, like she spoke as if the inner child is speaking. Because we all have these stored messages and expressions stored in our body. And what does it create? Disease.
Mm-hmm.
So the back of the book had a script. And it's like, you can follow this to help someone alleviate depression in a sense. I mean, I know it's a big ask, but just emotions that people keep kind of making them debilitated and they don't know what's going on, or a fear that they might have. So it has this script, and my body again told me, you have to do this for your personal training clients. And I was like, oh my God, okay, this feels really exciting to me. So then it started showing up and I started doing these sessions for my clients. So it would, of course, unearth all these intense emotions and experiences in their body. But essentially, the ceremony, in a sense, that it takes you through, it gets you to God, it gets you to source, and you really then hear your truth and you hear the other person's truth of, what caused them to do that to you. And so my client then was great. And then I felt like total crap. So I would be in bed the next day. So I just kept asking, and I started to like play with angel cards at this time. And I loved doing that. And I was like, what do I need to know? What is going on? And the angel card kept falling that I'm a medicine woman and that I need to go back to school. Well, I definitely resisted that. I was not the greatest in school. Like I really sucked at multiple choice questions.
Yeah.
But so I was like, I don't want to go back to school. And so then Brandon Bays ends up coming to Fort Collins. She's usually in Africa, like doing this with kids.
Oh, just happened. Really?
Yeah. I was like, damn, Cara, you're a good manifester.
Yes, you are, Cara. You are.
So then I sat by this practitioner and she's like, so you've done this for people and you've never received it? Yep, that's right. She said, well, I want to do this for free with you because I need hours. I need to practice on you. Okay. She gives me 2 sessions, completely shifted my life. So long story short, I brought to the table, I was like, well, I've had a fear of getting lost my whole life. I don't know what that's about. So then I discovered it came from my birth, how I was in my mom's womb, what was all going on in there, my unborn twin brother. And so I reconnected with him. I relived, in a sense, my traumatic birth. And I had to release the energies of the doctors, of my family, of the nurses, because I absorbed it all as mine. And she said, you are very clairvoyant, and a lot of your energy that you're dealing with is not yours. And you need to go, drum roll, you need to go to school. You need to go to Psychic Horizons in Boulder, which was like 45 minutes from me, to a class called How to Heal Yourself, where they teach you energy tools. So again, my body was like, yes, 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 you have to do this. I mean, I was even scared at the time to even drive 45 minutes and get lost. Like this was a big step for me. And I go and I do the 6-week course. And then I'm like, I have to do the year program. I do a year program of clairvoyant training. And they just, as you probably know, they just dive into like past lives. They dive into chakras. They dive into deprogramming. So my veil like really got pulled off of what is the truth with my situation and like my growing up and everything. And my soul told me, you're kind of done with being a personal trainer. Like, you really are supposed to help kids. You're supposed to help kids with self-love. You're supposed to travel around the world. What? Like, I was terrified to leave my mom's side.
Mhm.
So long story short, I then got sent by spirit for me to go to Belgium. Didn't know anyone. Then I got sent to go to Italy. Didn't know anyone, to be a nanny, and I received a children's book. I didn't think I was a writer. I would kind of get bad grades in English because I just did, run on sentences and whatever. So I just received this whole message for kids and older about how to love yourself and how to trust yourself. And it was just so wild and incredible. And then I would kind of here and there do intuitive work for clients, but I did all this other stuff on the side. And I then got kind of told I was supposed to teach kids yoga. And it was kept coming back to feelings
Mm.
of kids and all of us, because we all have inner child,
Mhm.
in us. We don't know how to process our feelings. And
Mhm.
we all carry, I feel, so much shame and unforgiveness and a lot towards ourselves. And so I just then developed a program called Creative Kids Movement, where they got to breathe their emotions. They got to feel their emotions.
Mhm.
They get to use the music of dance, like I used to love as a kid, and express themselves and feel the lyrics as their own. When we have all these, we don't know, like, but all these messages inside of our body, and they just kind of bounce around and we don't know what to do with them. And then we
Mhm.
wonder why we love a certain song, but we're just maybe shy to move our body or really express it like we see the celebrities on TV do.
Mhm.
So I did these classes with kids and it was just phenomenal. And then went through another shift, and spirit was like, just recently, this is what you have to focus on, is being an intuitive and being a psychic medium. Remember your twin brother who never came through as a human. You can do this. And so then Lisa Williams happened to have a group mediumship training right around that time. So now,
Happened again.
and she helped me really hone in and be like, yes, you need to create a course, and it's for creative rituals for empathic souls. You are an empathic. And so now I just teach people these tools that have like saved my life, and just how to really make your day sacred,
Mhm.
and yourself and your body sacred. And now that whole, long journey that I shared with you, it just all makes sense to me now.
Gosh, what an amazing journey. And I love so much people sharing, how they got to where they're at, because it's magical, but it's not. It's like literally being a soul in a physical body. It is part of who we are and what we are. And so
Yeah.
following, and what I kept hearing throughout as you were saying it, was just that you trusted. Cara trusted that, go here, go there. And I've been that same way in my life too. Do this, do that, or show up. And we have, obviously we have choices. We, cannot show up, but what I'm hearing you say is you showed up and you
Yeah.
followed the path, and it took you to the next place, the next place. And
Yeah.
also the ability to tune into children, because those first 7 years is when we're in our true feelings. And then after that, we know we get bombarded with beliefs and concepts as we go into school and others. So that is beautiful, Cara. And the fact that, like loving yourself, and how that kind of just came upon with, who you are as a soul and what you're here to do. That's so amazing. So tell me how it transferred. So you just kind of gave up the personal training, or did you move those people into like, hey, come and I can show you how to work with your intuition now?
Oh gosh, that's a great question. I wish I kind of did that. So at the time it was more, okay, I'm going to kind of close up my personal training. I took them more outside. I left the gym, because then I also started to realize how sensitive I was to the gym environment.
Mhm.
So then, just my intuition kept telling me, you just have to be outside. Like, my church was the trees as a kid.
Uh-huh.
And I grew up in a religious town, and that just didn't work, and that's where I would receive my messages. So I started to kind of blend it with them that way of like, we're going to go outside and do our workouts and just
Mhm.
really tune into ourselves. And then spirit just kept sending me to Europe and to Alaska and, to be a nanny and that type of thing. Um, so then I just kind of left behind the
Mhm.
personal training clients and just created these whole new relationships with kids, and their families. And then now my clients who just kind of find me for intuitive work online and that type of thing.
Mhm.
But the movement will always be something within me. I mean, my spirit just tells me so often, like, you have to still perform, even if there's not necessarily like a stage for you right now. My living room works fine. And just inspiring people, it's like if I post that online and they're just like, oh my God, that made me so joyful. And just for me to get in my body, and they know me as an intuitive
Mhm.
and photographer and that type of thing. But I'm like, yeah, this is how we hear our intuition. Because when we get so full of fear and just feeling so uncomfortable, I believe our soul just really jumps out.
Mhm.
How to keep it rooted, how to keep it in is to move, to take a breath,
Mhm.
really be aware, to listen to the music. Because when you're listening to the music, like, you're here, you're present. So yeah, I guess that's how I've kind of merged the two right now.
Well, and what I like what you said is, you said a couple times about how discerning the energies and how sensitive you are as an empath, and that's always a big thing for myself and with sharing with other people too, is how, like you mentioned that before, when you were born, you took on the energy of the doctor and the nurses and the mom and your unborn brother and all these things that we hold on to, and we have no idea and understanding of that. Why do I have this cancer in my chest now? Because I'm holding all this grief from whatever, this life or before I came in or whatever. So I love the fact that you are really about discerning and understanding, what's me, what's not me, and
Yeah.
where did this come from? So share, do you have any like techniques or anything you can share with how you discern what's you and what's not you?
Hmm. Yeah. So one tool that I teach just a lot of my course people and just my clients is a rose. Have you heard of this? Of
Mm.
using a big so I learned this in my schooling. So they use the rose because roses carry such high vibration.
Mhm.
So like rose oil is the highest vibration. And so just to envision, I mean, one simple use of this is just before you go to bed, close your eyes and envision a big, beautiful rose, like the size of you or bigger, and just whatever color comes to you, great, about arm's length in front of you, and command for it to ground. You don't want to be all floaty, like
Mhm.
ground to the earth, find its roots. And then just, such a beautiful time to actually check in with yourself and trust what comes to you. Of I am commanding from my space to release what is not mine,
Mhm.
and to use your inner intuition, even if you feel you're brand new to this, but keep working at it and practicing and acknowledging it, because it's going to get stronger the more you acknowledge it. Of if you're just closing your eyes and you're doing this and you're like, whoa, something's coming off of my arm. I don't know what it is. And you don't need to know, you don't need to call out names. And just watch it go out of your arm into the rose
Mhm.
and notice how you feel. And then you have to let it go. You got to blow it up.
Mhm.
So it's funny when I just, feel my clients being like, I can't blow up a rose. I'm like, just imagine it's going into sparkles, and let those sparkles go back to Gaia.
Mhm.
And when I do this, like with my clients and in my course, I mean, they just pretty much all say this is life changing, and that they didn't even know they were sensitive people.
Mhm.
But when they, activate their intuition and just really acknowledge it and it gets stronger, they're like, whoa, like I can see and feel all this energy coming off of me, and I need 5 roses today.
Mhm.
I absorb so much energy. I mean,
Mhm.
even if you're like, I didn't really interact with anyone, oh, you're probably still going to absorb from traffic, from, online stuff. Like, we are
Yeah.
all energetic beings.
Mhm.
It's just been so fantastic just to recognize that in people and know that these tools are massive, and that it's just that discerning of just asking, is this mine? Is this not mine? Or when you walk into a store and you're like, huh, I was feeling pretty good. Now I'm kind of feeling a little irritated. And then
Yes.
ask, is this mine? Is this not mine? And
Mhm.
that's where the capital T comes in, the trust.
Mhm.
So of course, a lot of us have that. We're like, oh, I don't know. I said yes, but I don't trust myself. But you just have to keep, that's where the exercise comes back. You
Mhm.
have to keep exercising it and practicing it.
Mhm. That repetition.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's key, because then that builds intuitive muscle, so to speak,
Yeah.
right? In the head, or the unseen intuitive muscle.
Yes.
And that's really important because it's all about trust, because all this what we're talking about is really unseen parts of us that if we don't acknowledge and trust, I mean, well, people go down different paths and that's fine for them, but
Yeah.
what I was thinking about when you were mentioning, your classes and people coming to you, it's like, well, there's no reason. I mean, there's a reason why they come to you, because they're ready for help. They're ready for some assistance, Cara. They're like, hello, and they resonate with your energy. That's what I love about really all the people that are showing up in the world right now to do spiritual work, metaphysical work, whatever it looks like, healing work, is that there's someone for everyone. And the
Yeah.
fact that there's so many different resonancies out there, and and people that are really showing up like you did, which is
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. That's just a word I wanted to share. And you just said it, of it just has to do with resonance, and
Mhm.
people are like, I don't know why I want to work with you. If it's a one-on-one session and I give them options of what we can look at, they're
Mhm.
like, I don't know. I've never done this before. But I just really resonate with your energy. And
Mhm.
then, whoa, it all comes out, in the session where it's like,
Mhm.
holy moly, this is what's going on with your soul and this is where it wants to go. And then generally, I see so much of me in the sessions.
Yeah.
That's called matching pictures, which I'm sure
Mhm.
you know of.
Mhm.
And that's just so fun. You're like, dang, way to go, universe. Like you
Without
just
a
know
doubt.
how to bring in my people.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could
That's
never
exactly.
orchestrated that.
You showed up, they show up, boom, it's magic. But we have to show up. That's the key, right?
Yeah.
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 So I want to talk a little bit about, of course, we talk a little about loving yourself, which is important, but putting ourselves first. So I'd like you to share. This is a biggie for a lot of people, especially those that night, had kids in the past, not past. Well, they don't live with me anymore, so they were
Mm,
younger. They grew up with me, and so they were always first. The family was first. I was not first. So
yeah.
putting ourselves first. I'd like you to share some wisdom around that concept, because that's a big one for people.
Yes. Goodness gracious. Yeah, I'm definitely enthusiastic about this because
Mhm.
I know how often it is put underneath the rug.
Mhm.
And that I just feel so many of the problems these days is just because we don't do that. Like we're not listening to our inner child raging within us when they didn't get their needs met. And
Mhm.
then as an adult, just how that kind of, you know, it's kind of misperception of like, don't be selfish. And just, I want to say, please be lovingly selfish. Like,
Mhm.
just
Mhm.
because I mean, it's like we all know this, and it's cliche, but it's like, yeah, just how to keep your cup as full as you can for
Mhm.
yourself so that, of course, you can give to others. Because I think
Mhm.
we all can relate of like when we don't put our needs first, and then for some reason we like bark at our partner or at the person on the road. And it could be as simple as because your urgent need is screaming, I just want to read for 30 minutes.
Mhm.
And how that can transform your cells, how
Mhm.
that can transform your daily experience. Well, the big word, of course, is vibration.
Mhm.
So, and just I feel we all relate of the need to better understand ourselves
Mhm.
because we can come out of the womb being like fingers out, like there's so much to learn out there and what's going on out there. But I think all of our sweet little souls, we're just here to learn the lessons and learn from ourselves
Mhm.
and keep going within. And then the more joy and passion and enthusiasm we have about ourselves,
Mhm.
our vibration then shifts and we beam love, which I feel is God, source.
Mhm.
And then we really attract that service, to give to other people and we feel more fulfilled. How many people say, I just want to know my purpose? I just want to know my purpose. My answer is like, the purpose is you. Like
You're on it. You're doing it.
the purpose is
Yeah.
being who you are.
Mhm.
and putting yourself first.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yes, I completely understand that most people are super duper busy. I'm not a mom. I don't know what that's like. But just it's like that's also my favorite people to work with, where I'm just like, and let's look at how we can set that in within your schedule, but just your energetic body to put 10 minutes first.
Mhm.
So beginning of the day, like just put your hand on your heart and say, what do you know to your heart? Put your hand on your heart and say, what emotion am I feeling right now?
Mhm.
Pull an oracle card. Say,
Mhm.
what do I need to know right now? And allow that to be your presence. Allow that to be your presence
Mhm.
and how your day is going to shift. And I think we all can relate too. And we're just like, today was just a really good day. Like, I just felt really great. I felt really great. And then it unfolds from there.
Mhm.
And when we wake up kind of just not feeling that great. Well, we probably don't address those emotions because we didn't put ourselves first. And then the
Mhm.
kids get maybe kind of gripey, or our partner does. So it just kind of unfolds from there. So
Mhm.
I'm just like, all you can really gain when you put yourself first is just so much more magic and gold.
Like everything.
Yeah.
Well, and it seems to me too, Cara, that this is really where this is where like all of humanity's at. Those that are waking up and those that are realizing that, not putting myself first is not working because it creates disease. It makes me unbalanced, ungrounded, out of sorts. Like you said, energy's coming at me. So I feel sick all the time. Like,
Yes.
and I feel that's why a lot of us are here on the planet now to assist, because this knowledge needs to get out, and this understanding. And the more that we talk about it, and the more that we say, you know what, this is just natural. This is okay to put yourself first, because it's your journey. You're here. You're unique. You're back on your purpose. Like you said, I mean, I believe as soon as you come back, hey, you're here for your purpose. You're doing it every single day.
Yeah.
It's just we put so much pressure on ourselves to be like, what is the name of that purpose? What is the name? What's it going to look like? It's
How
like,
long
who
it's going to last. Yeah.
right? How long will it last? It's like, dudes, what I mean, like you're here, you're doing it. If you're breathing, I was saying, I said it to a couple people recently, like, look, you're doing pretty good. You're in a body and you're breathing.
Yes.
Otherwise, you would not be here. You'd be under the ground or you'd be cremated. I mean, like, really, it's that intense. It's like, you're here now. Enjoy life.
Yes.
Can
Yeah.
I get
And
an amen on that? No.
yes. Yes. Oh God. And just
Amen. Aho, everything.
yes, I'm clapping. I'm clapping.
Yeah.
Just how to be of like, we are these souls in this human body, and we have all these senses to
Mhm.
enjoy. So can we really heighten the enjoyment of what our eyes can see, what our hands can touch, tasting things,
Mhm.
listening to things? This all comes with presence.
Mhm.
And that's what I loved, in a sense, about 2020 and beyond. It
Mhm.
really started to clean out the cupboards.
Mhm.
And I feel a huge universal reason of it was to clear out the distractions.
Mhm.
And so it's like, yeah, we're just so wired. And that's what I feel Mother Earth was telling us of like, no, 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 you stop distracting yourself from the feelings. Stop distracting yourself from putting yourself first.
Mhm.
And a lot of us, I feel, we don't want to put ourselves first because we're terrified of the feelings,
Mhm.
because we've been taught we don't know how to process them. And if I feel anger, if I feel rage, if I feel jealousy, well, then that means I'm a type of human. And that's bullshit.
Mhm.
It's like, no, give it space. Love those feelings. They all are welcome here.
Mhm.
Allow them to feel safe in your body and let them transcend and evolve, and really enjoy the sounds of the birds while you're feeling angry, and really
Right.
enjoy the taste of the chocolate when you're feeling jealous.
Just enjoy all of it is what I'm hearing you say, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what we're here to do. We're here, like you're saying. I mean, it's part of our plan. It's part of why we're here.
Yep.
So let's share a little bit about your creative rituals for empathic souls. I would love you to share a bit about that because that's a really cool thing that you offer your clients.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm pretty jazzed about it. So I've done it about 4 times, and just kept coming out in my private sessions.
Mhm.
Their soul and spirit would tell me rituals that they need to do for themselves to celebrate themselves
Mhm.
and or to really acknowledge a transition.
Mhm.
And one in particular from a client years ago is popping in. And I was like, "What is this? I see you by a tree. A birthday's coming up or something." Long story short, and he's like, "Yeah, I love trees, and I don't celebrate birthdays. Like I grew up that way. We don't celebrate ourselves." Oh, so this whole ritual came through, and I was like, "You quote unquote have to celebrate yourself and heal this inner child." And all these specifics came out of this beautiful medicine ritual. I
Mhm.
mean, it just kind of like reminds me of just like Native American, of
Mhm.
how, and, shamans and how they really get this. This is ancient knowledge of
Mhm.
really making everything so have a meaning, and just sacred. And so that's what kept coming through my sessions with people. And then the tools that I teach, these three main essential tools: the grounding cord, the roses, the sun above you. And so I just know people are really coming out of the closet as being sensitive
Mhm.
and really feeling drained and overwhelmed and shut down. Depression, suicide are at the highest.
Mhm.
So I'm a huge no thank you to this.
Mhm.
And I just feel this massive, like lion, like in your background, lioness drive to help people and let them know
Mhm.
you can allow your sensitivities to be your superpower.
Mhm.
This is what makes you magical. This is what makes you magnetic. This is what the world needs. And yes, you need protection tools
Mhm.
that are so fun to use so you can decipher what is your energy, what is not your energy, and really keep the vibration that you're called to be at to manifest and be a magnet of what you want. And
Mhm.
anxiety is so high, and I know a lot of people, they go to medicines and drugs, and that's what maybe they need at the time, but I'm like, we just got to get you grounded. We just have to ground your first chakra.
Mhm.
And we've just been so far and removed from nature and the understanding that we are nature. So I address this in my class too, of just, rituals of how to get on the earth and how to help balance your first chakra. When that foundation is balanced, it's just going to shine light up to the others, and
Mhm.
how to really claim the center of your head. A lot of us don't know that. This is where we manifest, in the center of our head, our third eye, and it can just get clogged with other people. So we
Mhm.
don't know what are our thoughts, what are not our thoughts,
Mhm.
and just how to take ownership of your space. And then you can, of course, give so much more, and you can be your authentic self. And I think that's what we all deeply want to be, is just, I just want to be my authentic self. I just want to hear, that person in me speak. I don't know how to make space for that. So that's what my course does. And
Mhm.
it's 6 weeks and it's online, so anyone can join from anywhere. And right now I have it for women and of ages. Like, I've had a 30-year-old and a 75-year-old in the same group,
Mhm.
and they just really fall in love with each other quickly because we get so into the depth of it fast,
Mhm.
and they create this genuine connection. And how so many of us are just online, have the most friends we've ever had and feel lonely, capital
Mhm.
L. And
Mhm.
so I don't want that either. So I am a massive lover. I love loving people, and I love holding a space for these people to come together and just share and connect and do these rituals together online and clear out our space. And then I give you soul work for the week. So it's like, how many of us are like, yeah, I read this magazine about this ritual, but put that underneath the rug. So you kind
Mhm.
of have that sense of accountability, that energy, knowing these 6 other women are doing it at the same time. We're going to come back the next week and share. It's like, I think as kids, we all love show and tell.
Mhm.
And that I just love watching these women beam when they share about their experience and what they've learned about themselves, and really realizing how supportive they really are in their life and what does matter, and speaking their truth and feeling safe again as a sensitive person, and
Mhm.
not really realizing how gunked they got by other people's stuff and just thinking anxiety is normal. So just deal with it. But yeah, I am
Well, what
so,
comes to me, yeah, it sounds amazing. And what comes to me about that too is that community is big right now. So people are missing community. Like you say, we've been isolated, and a lot of people still are in their minds and in their bodies and in their way. I mean, I go out in to the store and no one even looks at you in your eyes anymore. Like most people look away, don't look at them. So it's really weird. So that's one thing. And that's a big thing really is, having that community and having that awareness. The other thing too, Cara, is outflow. So being able to speak about what you're experiencing. And so what I hear you saying in your group is that this is a big part of it, is that people come together and can say, hey, I'm seeing this and I'm feeling that. And it is so important to have community where you can outflow.
yeah,
Can't stress that enough. Community where you can outflow.
yeah, that's so beautiful to say that because you just get a vision, from that.
Hmm.
And yeah, where I just feel so many people feel they're so alone
Hmm.
in what they're experiencing.
Hmm.
And I can't share this with you. Who am I going to share this with? Who else can relate? I'm going to freak people out. And then they come in an example like my course and they're like, oh, thank God. Like I'm,
Hmm. Hmm.
I'm heard, I'm understood by these women
Yeah.
and just feel their love, for me.
Hmm.
And I just, it's like teachers say when they just have work with kids and their little eyes light up when they finally get a concept or something. And it's like, oh my gosh, that just feeds my soul so much when they just have this, their soul just beams and they can feel seen. They can feel loved and protected.
Absolutely.
And in this year, you probably know this. So 2023 apparently is all about creation. And
Hmm.
last year was more about shadows. So
Hmm.
that got me even more excited about my course when, like Archangel Raphael, I was listening to this channel and Raphael was saying, you have to get grounded right now because the energy is moving even more quickly. And
Yep.
then I was like, okay, I have to do my course because I have to get this
Yes.
grounded
Yes.
and connect
Hmm.
and focus on what you want to create. If you're not grounded, how are you going to manifest something that, how are you going to tune into that and feel it?
Well, it's funny when you say grounded because I talk to my husband about this all the time. And I'm like, when I'm out driving, I'm like, oh my God, so many people I can feel it, ungrounded driving their cars.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's, and it's just, I try not to go there too much because then I'm like freaking out a little bit. But
Yes.
yeah, most people are ungrounded. Most people are not in their bodies.
Yes.
So it's very, important to find someone like you to do this work, to pull everything back down and to really be grounded and know who you are as a soul. So kudos to you, Cara. I mean, thank you for offering this beautiful, gift to people. And I'd love for you to share how people get a hold of you and any other offerings you'd like to share.
Oh, sure. Thanks. Yeah. So my website is a great place to land. It's carafaithintuitive.com. And then yeah, there you can just email me, just contact me on there because I'd love to offer your listeners 15% off of my one-on-one, intuitive sessions and healing sessions. And if you have a past loved one you want to speak with, that's included also. So 15% off of that. And then my course information is on there. And then I have fun on social media. So Facebook Lives is great because I do full moon and new moon intuitive readings. So it's
Mm.
a great time just to learn about the moon, what's going on, and how to manifest. And then people who show up, they get 10 minutes. And so it's a great way just to feel out my work. And you can
Mhm.
just pay $1 and up for that. So that's just Cara Faith on Facebook. And then Instagram, I'm more on Spirit Speaks Intuitive.
Well, that was quite the meaty little episode with Cara Faith, and I thank her so much for coming on today and sharing with us some insights on how to stay grounded, how to work with your energy before you go to bed, and her events coming up online, as well as a beautiful 15% off discount if you wanted to connect with her as an enthusiastically spiritual listener. So, for each of you listeners out there, wherever you're at in the world, I thank you so much for listening in. I thank you for watching on our YouTube channel if you're watching this episode. And also, please make sure that if you've not subscribed, that you do hit subscribe. You like, please feel free to leave a comment for me, and please feel free to share with your friends and family. And if you do have any kind of question for me, you can always go to the show notes to Pod Inbox, where you can leave a little question for me, and I'll get back to you with an answer or whatever you have a question about. And until next time, please remember that life is too short to not be enthusiastic about your unique journey.